Welcome. My name is LeMay. I'm the project manager here at the Philadelphia Chinatown Development Corporation. We are hosting a resource sharing on the upcoming Comcast RISE grant, which will provide $10,000 for Philadelphia BIPOC-owned small businesses. Today we have our presenters, Robert Smith and also Chung Lee from Comcast. 大家好，今天的我们的这个演讲人是 Robert Smith 和 Chung Lee， 都是从 Comcast 来的。So I'm going to take this time now to switch screens, and I'll hand the mic.
Well, thank you very much, LeMay. I really appreciate the opportunity to join you and to talk about Comcast RISE with businesses in the Philadelphia Chinatown neighborhood. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Mm-hmm.
Okay. My partner today is Chung Lee, who hopefully will help keep me from demonstrating my lack of Chinese language speaking skills. For that, I am very sorry, but we will take our time, and with Chung and LeMay, we hope to present this information in a manner that will enable you to apply for these grant opportunities, and we will certainly take time to answer your questions. So Comcast RISE is a Comcast initiative aimed at strengthening and supporting small businesses owned by people of color whose operations have been impacted due to COVID-19. The goal is to empower your businesses who serve as the backbone of our local community through media and technology resources, and in this specific round, financial grants. There are two Comcast departments that are primarily behind this effort. One of them is our advertising department, which is called Effective, and the other is our business class services unit called Comcast Business. RISE stands for Representation, Investment, Strength, and Empowerment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mind if we can have Chung translate rather than maybe every sentence, after one sentence or two sentences, Chung can translate what you just said?
Certainly. Chung, would you?
Sure. 各位早晨，首先祝大家新年快樂，身體健康。咁好多謝 PCDC 俾呢個機會，我哋公司 Comcast 為大家講解一下我哋嚟緊嘅一連串嘅計劃，去幫助我哋社區嘅小企業啦。咁呢啲咁今次嚟緊呢一個 round 咧，我哋係有一個計劃係for 現金嘅贊助啦。咁Bob會繼續講下一個詳情會話俾大家聽個計劃係有啲包括係啲咩有咩企業可以qualify for 呢個嘅計劃。
The Comcast RISE program has a couple of different phases. Each quarter of 2021 and next year, 2022, we will be offering marketing and technology services that we invite everyone to apply for.
我哋公司咧，咁嚟緊咧就有個計劃咧係有會有 media， 佢即係幫你宣傳啦，同埋有除咗幫你宣傳之外，仲有呢個嘅電腦更新啊，所有我哋嘅技術更新咁
And those grants involve television commercials, and technology makeovers for your business.
佢繼續之前都係咁講啦，佢係有頭先我講咗啦，有呢個行銷服務啦，同埋技術更新嘅提供。
So far, we have awarded those benefits to over 700 businesses across the country and over 140 businesses right here in the city of Philadelphia.
咁咧，我哋已經有732個小商戶咧，已經係得到我哋嘅贊助啦。咁其中咧有143個嘅小商家咧，都係喺我哋費城入邊嘅。
But the most exciting part of this program, and the one we'd like to spend the most time talking about, are the Comcast Rise investments, monetary grants that will be available not everywhere in the country, but just Philadelphia, the city of Chester, and four other cities around the country, Houston, Atlanta, and so on. But we will have 100 grants in the amount of $10,000 each to award to small businesses in Philadelphia and Chester.
咁咧，今日咧，我哋最想介紹嘅咧，就係我哋嚟緊呢個咧現金贊助嘅計劃啦。咁呢個計劃咧，就係我哋咧喺費城或者個 Chester County 入邊咧，我哋就會有100個小商戶係得到呢一筆款。咁而呢一筆款咧，就每一個小商戶咧係會得到1萬蚊嘅現金贊助嘅。
The window for applications will be open from March 1st through March 14th. So there are 2 weeks during which you can apply for these $10,000 grants. And the winners will be announced on April 27th.
咁咧嚟緊咧，我哋呢個咧你可以申請咧申請咧，你可以由3月1號至3月14號咧，你就可以去申請呢個贊助金啦。咁咧我哋會4月27號咧，我哋就會通知所有得獎者嘅。
The eligibility requirements are fairly simple. Small businesses with no more than 25 full-time and part-time employees. The business is established for at least 3 years. So this slide says 3 to 5 years. That's my mistake. It's a business that has been open for at least 3 years or more, and that the business address be either in the city of Philadelphia or the city of Chester.
咁咧呢幾點咧又好重要嘅，咁咧因為咧呢幾點咧就係代表有邊一個小商戶咧可以得到呢個現金贊助啦。咁你要第一個咧就係唔可以超過25個員工啦。你嘅小商戶係有少過25個嘅員工。咁咧同埋咧你嘅商戶咧係雖然呢個slide 咧就話係3至5年啦，但其實咧我哋只需要你嘅商業係開咗超過3年或者以上啦。咁咧同埋咧你嘅商業會要喺費城入邊或者 Chester County。咁如果你符合呢幾個嘅requirement， 你都可以申請嘅。
So Chung, I just want to correct, it's the city of Chester, not Chester County.
Oh, sorry,係個 Chester 嘅城市。
So the city of Chester is actually in Delaware County. So we don't want anyone with a business in Chester County to be mad at us. And the business can be a restaurant, a retail business, and it could be an online business. It can be a hybrid of brick and mortar business with an online presence. It really doesn't matter as long as it's an established business and the business address is based in Philadelphia or the city of Chester.
So 咁咧你嘅商戶咧，你可以喺一個一個鋪頭啦，或者呢個網上嘅商店都可以嘅，只需要你嘅地址咧係登記喺費城入邊咧，你都可以申請嘅。
We won't read through all of these questions, but we'll try to go quickly through the most important ones and make sure there's enough time to answer your questions.
我哋咧有少少，我哋呢個 slide 入邊有好多嘅資料啦，但係我哋唔需要全部讀晒俾你哋聽啦。但我哋都希望，如果你有問題嘅話，你可以問我哋啦，咁我哋可以盡量解釋翻。
So the most important two questions are, how do you apply? And whether it's for the marketing and technology services or for the cash grants, all of the applications are online at www.comcastrise.com. And the window for the grants is March 1st through March 14th. You can't apply earlier than March 1st for the grants, but you can go in today or at any time throughout the year and apply for the marketing or the technology services.
咁咧要解釋翻講多次啦。咁我哋係有兩個唔同嘅我哋有兩個唔同嘅program 嘅贊助啦。咁第一個咧就係呢個行銷服務或者技術更新啦。咁呢一個咧你可以幾時都可以上我哋嘅 comcastrise.com 嗰度去申請嘅。咁呢個咧係冇呢個時間限制啦，你可以幾時上去都得。咁咧，但係另外一個咧現金贊助呢個咧，你就要留意翻啦。咁現金贊助咧就會喺2021年嘅3月1號至14號，係只有2個禮拜嘅時間，你可以去上網申請。你唔可以做而家咧暫時咧都仲係未開始嘅，但係咧3月1號咧你就可以上網登記。
The selection process is that we have an outside company working with us to review the applications and to judge the applicants. This way, there's no favoritism. We're not restricting this to businesses that do business with Comcast. You don't have to be a Comcast advertiser. You do not have to be a Comcast subscriber. We don't care whether you use the other companies out there for your internet or for your advertising. This is open to all businesses without regard to their relationship with Comcast. And by using an outside neutral company, we ensure that.
咁咧，我哋點樣去選擇我哋嘅邊個？我哋贊助邊一個咧？咁我哋係有個我哋有個 third party， 我哋有另一間公司咧，就幫我哋去選，我哋根據你嘅表格啦，咁我哋會選邊個會可以得到呢款嘅贊助啦。咁會公平。咁你唔需要係我哋公司嘅客戶啦，唔需要用我哋嘅公司嘅 Comcast 嘅 cable 或者 internet 但係你只要係你想，你可以。任何人都可以上網去申請，咁我哋會個係好公平嘅機會俾大家。
And the other thing I'll say about the application process is that it's important that the applicants try to be as complete and as thorough as you can when filling out the forms. We make it easy on us to give you this grant if we don't have the complete business names and number of employees and all that. It's very hard to pick an incomplete application. And one of the most important things we're looking for are those stories about how you have kept your business thriving or staying open during all of the challenges of the past year. How have you made changes to your business that allowed you to serve your customers during the COVID crisis, the economic downturn, and even the social unrest that we saw in the city last year.
咁咧想講翻啦，咁你填表格嗰陣時咧，你記得要俾多啲嘅資料我哋啦。咁除咗你講你公司嘅名啊，有幾多個員工啊，咁我哋好想知道你哋背後嘅故事啦。咁呢個故事，關於你公司嘅故事，喺呢一年過去呢一年，大家都知道啦。Covid 會影響到好多影響到你哋嘅生意啦。咁我哋好想知道你做過啲咩嘢，你又點樣可以令到你繼續可以營運你嘅生意啦。咁我哋好想知道多啲你嘅故事。咁如果你填多啲你嘅故事啊，填多啲你俾多啲資料俾我哋咧，咁會容易啲，令我哋可以去推薦去你成為呢個可以攞到呢筆贊助。
So these next two questions are more about the marketing and the technology grants. And just a reminder that we will be offering marketing and technology services each quarter throughout this year and next. And those applications will always be open. If you apply for the marketing and technology services now or next month and you're not chosen, your application will stay in our system and will be considered each quarter after that. So for the marketing and technology services, you only have to apply once and you will always be considered in the following quarters. For the cash grants, that is separate, and you have to apply for that between March 1st and March 14th. If you apply for marketing and technology, that will not carry over to the cash grant application. And if you apply for the cash grant application, that will not carry over to the marketing and technology. So at most, there's two applications, one for the grants and one for the other services. I'm sorry that's so complicated.
Yeah， 咁之前講過啦，咁係有2個表格你哋係需要填嘅。咁咧睇下你想要揀啲乜嘢啦。咁第一個表格咧就係呢個俾行銷服務啦，同埋呢個技術更新啦。行銷服務即係幫你賣廣告啊，幫你咁技術更新係俾新嘅儀器啊，幫你技術更新啦。咁呢個嘅表格咧，咁係每3個月咧，我哋都會揀一個小商戶去贊助啦。咁你只需要申請1次。咁如果咧你今次係你得唔到，我哋冇揀到你嘅話咧，咁個表格喺入邊咧可以繼續，我哋會下個月會去到下3個月，咁我哋就會再揀啦。咁你只需要申請1次。咁所以呢個咧係今年同埋下一年我哋都會贊助嘅。咁但係咧現金贊助咧就要留意翻啦。現金贊助只係得1次，只係今次就係得唯一1次嘅啫。咁你記得要喺3月1號至3月14號期間去申請呢個贊助款。咁所以係記住係有2個表格你係需要登記嘅。如果你想要晒現金同埋另外嘅服務。
And our last slide. For the business services, the technology and the advertising, there's no way to convert that into cash. Those are in-kind services. There are no tax implications with regard to those two services, advertising or technology, but there are taxes associated with the $10,000 grant. As I said, if you are not selected in one grant period, one quarter, you can certainly reapply and be considered going forward. Again, if you are a Comcast business customer or a Comcast effective advertising customer, you are welcome to apply, but there's no requirement that you be our customer, and there's no special treatment for our customers. This is open to everyone. And we've been asked the question about ownership among people of color. Is the program open to businesses that are not owned by people of color, but who employ people of color? And the answer is no, not this time. This is open to Black, Brown, Indigenous, and other people of color because we know from research that your businesses in Philadelphia, in Chester, and in a few other cities around the country have really been hurt by COVID-19, the economic downturn, and everything else that has happened over the course of the past year.
咁咧呢度有好幾點 Bob 係講嘅咧，首先咧就係行銷服務啦，同埋技術更新啦，呢個咧你唔可以將佢轉為現金啦。咁因為呢個只係我哋嘅服務，為你提供嘅服務啦。咁而另外咧，現金嗰方面咧，咁現金咧你要留意翻啦，因為現金咧可能咧係你需要交稅嘅，咁你最好咧就同翻你哋嘅會計師講一講啦，咁睇下佢有咩意見。咁我想 make sure 你哋記得嗰度咧係你哋可能將會係要交呢個稅項嘅。咁咧佢Bob 咗我同埋咧佢都講啦，話啦你唔需要係我哋公司嘅客戶啦，你唔需要係我哋公司廣告嘅客戶啦，我哋呢個 program 咧係俾你所有人嘅，你哋邊個都可以去所有嘅有色種族人嘅，你哋都可以去申請啦。咁唔係話你係我哋嘅客戶咧，我哋就會俾你哋優先，就會俾機會你俾多啲機會你哋啦。咁仲有同埋之前講過啦，行銷服務同埋技術更新。如果你今年咧得唔到嘅，如果你呢3個月我哋冇揀到你之後咧可以繼續申請，你繼續可以我哋會繼續去俾機會你，我哋你唔需要話再去申請過，咁你會繼續可以有機會去得到呢一啲服務嘅。同埋咧，我哋同埋咧，仲有一點咧，就講翻啦，我哋呢個贊助咧，有啲人咧就問啦，咁如果我呢個公司咧，我哋間公司係唔係有色種族人開嘅，但我哋請嘅員工咧，大部分都係有色種族嘅，咁得唔得咧？咁咧係唔可以嘅，因為咧我哋咧需要咧你嘅老闆啦，係需要係黑人啦、亞洲人啊，或者原住民或者所有有色種族人咧，咁我哋就話呢個計劃係俾你哋嘅，因為我哋知道咧過去一年咧，你哋好多俾呢個 COVID 啊，或者呢個所有嘅好多會影響啦。咁我哋知道你哋生意或者會下落啊。咁所以咧，我哋有呢個機會咧，係想優先可以幫我哋呢個有色種族人嘅。
Well, with that, I'd like to thank Chung very much for translating for me and for you. And I'd also like to thank LeMay Zhang, John Chin, Rachel Mack, and the wonderful team at Philadelphia Chinatown Development Corporation for giving us this opportunity to speak with you. And I thank you for your attention. We'd be happy to take questions now. LeMay, you may have some to start with, and then I'll let you run the Q&A however you see fit.
Perfect, thank you, Bob. So 现在要是大家有什么问题的话，你可以直接发到那个 chat group 里头 ，OK。然后呢，还有so 或者是说你可以举手。So if there's any folks who have any questions, feel free to please use the chat box, or you can raise your hand, and then we'll get to you. Some questions, Bob, as you know, this is a really great program. There's both the grant component, and then there's also the marketing and promotions component. One question I had was, so for the marketing promotion series, what is the number of businesses that you're hoping to? Is there a limit? I know the grant has 100 businesses for the city of Philadelphia and Chester City, but is there such a limit for the marketing? I'll just translate that real quick. So 我的问题就是说，有没有那个什么，就是关于这个有一个广告部分，还有一个这个什么，还有一个这个补助金的部分，所以这个两个是不同的这个申请的条件。所以呢，就是说你。这个广告的呢，是不是也有一个就是总共来说只有100个人可以申请，还是什么样的这种规则？
There is certainly a limit, and I am looking for my notes on that right now. There will be hundreds, if not thousands, of businesses across the country who will be eligible for the marketing services and the technology services. We have not broken that down by city yet. So whereas the grant is only available in the city of Philadelphia and in the city of Chester, the technology services and the advertising marketing services are available everywhere that Comcast serves.
Thank you. And then I had a question from one of our attendees. Okay, let's see. The question is, if it's a construction company, are they qualified to apply? 就是说，要是这种造房子的这种公司，能不能也申请？就想知道有没有资格。Okay, yeah.
Yes, every kind of business is eligible to apply. There are no restrictions by business category. As long as the business has been established for at least 3 years and has no more than 25 employees. So yes, construction companies, consulting companies, offices, retail, food service, all businesses are eligible.
Great. And then I wanted to get to one of the folks who has their hand raised. 你好，有一个是这个267270118的电话号码，我看到你举手了，你可以自己就是 unmute 一下吗
？OK， 我不会讲普通话的，我想问一下呢，是不是所有就不管你的公司的规模有多大，都是可以拿到1万块的 grant， 是不是这样啊？
你能不能再解释一下你的这个问题？
我就是说，他说那个grant money right， 就是说10,000 right， the maximum is 10,000 for if or it doesn't matter what the size your company right。
要喺 H 個，其實咧我哋要少過25個嘅員工嘅，全職或者part time 或者 full time 哋少過25個員工。So she was asking if is there like a number of employees is for any size? So I said that it will have to be less than 25 employees. 我哋因為咧，我呢個贊助係一個小商戶，所以係要少過25個嘅員工。
唔緊要，譬如話我哋有啲人係25個，有啲係1個咁啊嘛，係咪所有啲唔理你幾多人都係1萬蚊？就好似你1個人做又係1萬蚊，25個人做都係1萬蚊。
係啊，冇錯。
即係凡係你申請，如果獲批都係1萬蚊，唔理你係有幾多個員工，係咪咁樣啊？唔理你嘅公司嘅收入有幾多，有啲收入話幾十萬啊，有啲2萬啊咁樣啊嘛。係咪啲細嘅員工咁樣係咪即係唔理你個規模係有幾大，你嗰間公司賺錢幾多都係一樣可以攞到1萬蚊，即係冇錯咁樣，冇錯，即係唔係話細啲就攞少啲，大啲攞多啲，唔係咁樣。
唔係，只係每一個小商戶都可以得到1萬蚊美金，咁唔理你有1個員工、2個員工或者25個員工，我哋都唔會睇你嘅年收幾多錢，我哋都唔會介意嘅。
即係申請都係，如果獲批都係1萬蚊。
係啦，冇錯。
OK， 得啦，唔該晒。
唔使。So she was actually I want to clarify. She was asking if there were is it determined on the revenue of the company, or like if it's one person or if it's 25 people, if 25, will she get more? But I clarified that it's really just a $10,000 regardless of the size between 0 to 25. It's not like you 25 employee you get a little bit more, so it's just all standard of $10,000.
That's right.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And then,
the nice thing about the $10,000 is that it is unrestricted. The business owner can spend that money however they see fit, whether it's to invest in their business, to pay salaries or payroll, to pay rent, to purchase equipment or inventory. It is whatever that business needs that money for. The money is unrestricted from our point of view.
所以咧，Bob 就講話咧，呢1萬蚊你係將你可以你點樣用都可以嘅，你可以用嚟俾你哋嚟我發放你嘅薪金啊，或者你去投資你自己嘅鋪頭啊，你做點樣用咧，我哋都係唔會，我哋都唔介意嘅。
And then I have a few more questions in the group chat. So the question is one person had a question where, the business is located in Philadelphia, but the postal office in which I guess they receive mail is outside of Philadelphia. Do they have the ability to apply? So 我刚才看到我们有一个这个问题，就是说公司是在费城注册的，但是这个邮寄地址在其他地方，他们有可以申请吗？
So the answer would depend on where the business is licensed or registered. I understand mail sometimes goes to different addresses. Mailing addresses or just mailing addresses. But if there's a business license or the tax forms are filed from Philadelphia, there would need to be some verification that the business is based in the city of Philadelphia or the city of Chester. We don't care where the mail goes.
Okay, so just something physical proof that they have their business in Philadelphia.
That's correct.
So 就是说，你要是就是他们主要是要看你的这个商店是在有证件，就证明你的这个商店是在费城的。他们要是说你收到有信的时候，在其他地方都无所谓，但是这个你的这个证件上都是写有这个费城的地址是主要的。And then this is a little bit of a repeat question, but for folks in Montgomery County, are they eligible to apply?
Not for the cash grant this time, but certainly for the advertising and technology services.
So that's available to any place that is
served by Comcast.
Served by Comcast. OK， 所以关于这个朋友的问题就是说 ，Montgomery County 的企业可以申请吗？在这个补助金上呢，是没有这一轮没有资格申请，但是说你要是说要申请那个广告的服务的话，你也可以申请这个的。Another question is this grant taxable?
Yes, we as a company cannot waive government tax requirements. So the in-kind services, the technology and the advertising, we don't assign a monetary value to that. So those, as far as we know, are not taxable. But the cash grants you would have to report on your business taxes.
Okay, so 刚才有一个问题就是说，这个补助呢是也要需要报税的是吧？然后这个答案是的，就是还是要付税的。Another
My
question.
understanding, LeMay, I'm sorry to interrupt, is that we don't take taxes out of that. So that is between the business and their tax preparer or accountant to handle that.
Right. So it's not that Comcast is taking X amount of dollars from $10,000 grant, but when
That's
you
correct.
go file your taxes, you have to pay. Okay. So 有一个问题就是刚才就是在解释呢，就是说，这个不是说明就是你申请1万的块钱的时候，这个 Comcast 会把一部分拿走，然后付税的。这是你拿到这个补助金以后呢，你跟你的那个会计师就是需要把这个事情搞清楚，就是付税的时候，报税的时候。Another question was, I think, which is very helpful for most folks on the phone is, could you go over more detail on what makes a strong application?
Yes, I thank you for that question. First, we can't stress enough how important it is to be complete on the application. Please try not to leave anything blank. I know that businesses who apply for support from other programs are fatigued or tired of all of the paperwork. We tried to make this easier than, say, the payroll protection applications and things like that. So we encourage everyone to be as thorough as possible. And LeMay, perhaps PCDC can offer some assistance if any of your businesses don't know what to answer or how to answer. Beyond that, we want to hear the stories about how these businesses have managed to continue to serve their customers throughout all of the challenges that they've faced over the past year or so. We know that the pandemic, the economic downturn, the social unrest have added so much stress to what is already a very difficult thing to do to run a successful business. So how did you do it? What did you do to adjust? And how will this money help you to continue doing it?
Yeah, okay, so Bob 说的这个意思就是说，这个申请表格就是已经就是说过，就是非常简单的，不会问多少，就是不会问很多问题，但是在最重要的那部分就是要讲你自己的这个故事，就是说你的这个商店在这个疫情期间里有没有就是做一些就是为了就是允许你就是继续开门的这种事情，这些主要是要讲故事的。我们 PCDC 这边也可以帮助你们就是申请，然后我们是有这个可以做得了的，然后我们也是免费服务的。So I just said, the application itself is not very complicated and doesn't have too many questions, but it is something where it's important to tell your story. PCDC, we can certainly help with providing free service, to apply for the application process. And I think we can. I would also say, we are also pretty experienced in writing different kinds of grants, so for sure folks can come reach out to us. 就是说我们 PCDC 也是有经验，就是我们也有经验，就是申请各种各样的补助金的，所以你可以跟我们联系。Then a next question, we had someone ask about the marketing. So they just weren't really clear for the marketing promotion side of things. Is it that Comcast would help, create them a website or create a commercial, or is it that they say, is it going to be like a creator who will teach us how to do these things?
So there are a few different versions of that, and I think based on the needs that are presented in the application, that's how they would be selected. But there are consulting services where we would talk to the business. We would have professionals talk to the business about their marketing plan and how they advertise and all of that. But then there are other components where we would produce television commercials and provide the advertising inventory, if you will, the space on cable television channels to run those commercials in the market. So for example, if there was a travel agent in Chinatown that had a great story to tell, but they didn't have the resources to put a television commercial on cable TV to spread the word, that would be something that can be provided under the marketing and advertising portion of the program.
So just to be clear, there is the consulting portion, and then also if the business says, I want to create a commercial, but I don't know how, Comcast would also help with creating that commercial.
Yes.
Okay. So 这个问题就是说，刚才有人问这个这个广告的这部分 Comcast 广告的这部分可以做一些什么？是说是他们给我们就是做广告，还是说教我们怎么做 ？So Bob 的意思是说，其实两个都是，一部分就是说，他们会给你解释应该怎么做，但是要是说你自己想要搞一个广告呀，30秒的广告，或者是什么，I assume you guys also do like if they said we need help with our website, would you also help with that as well?
So we don't do web development as part of our core business, but we could, if what the winner expressed the need for in their application was for someone to look at their website and their social media and things like that, we could provide some guidance and consulting on that, but we do not have a web development business for retail businesses. So consulting on those things that we don't personally do, and then on the advertising, that's something where we have more expertise and a business that does that.
Got it. Okay, so 就是说广告那一部分是 Comcast 更有经验的，但是说要是说你要找办法重新做一个网络或者是什么的，这个呢他们主要是要给这种就是一些可能一些经验吧，但是不是说明他们会给你重新做一个网站。So, and then I think this is the last question that we have. Are there any documents that business owners should start preparing in order to be ready for the grant? Which also kind of ties into my question of what are some things that business owners need to bring to the table when they are looking to apply. And I'll just translate this really quickly. So 有一个人的问题就是说，我们申请这个补助的话，有没有什么资料我们就是要提前准备的？我也或者我的问题也是想要知道，就是小型企业的是他们会需要什么样的这种就是准备一些什么样的资料才可以申请
？So I think the thing that you can start working on now is especially for the cash grant portion is telling your story about how you've survived through a challenging year and how this money would help you to continue to do that. In terms of documents, I'm waiting, and I'm sorry for this answer. We had hoped to have the final application by this call, but I don't have the final application to look at yet. They're still tweaking it. As soon as we get that, we're going to share that with you, Lemay, so that you can reach out to the people who are on this call and say, you're going to need, this particular form and that particular form. But again, we believe it's going to be the type of documents that all licensed businesses will have handy. We're trying to make the application as easy as possible.
Okay, so Bob 的意思就是说，现在他们也在准备这个申请表格呢，但是他的建议是大家就先准备一下你们的这个故事，就是申请的时候这个故事。他的意思也是说，关于资料上的东西呢，也是就是大部分申请，要是你们都申请过补助的话，你们通常也会见到什么联系方式呀，或者是说你一年里的这一些收入什么的等等。所以他的意思说，这些详细一点的还没有准备好呢，但是就是把这个大概的都开始想一想，然后呢，最主要的就是说怎么样可以把你的这个故事表达出来。And let me see if I have anything else. So we mentioned that you can use the grant for anything, anything related to the business.
Yes.
It could be rent, it could be utilities,
Yes.
whatever.
Unrestricted, yes.
Unrestricted. OK. So 我刚才也就是确认一下，这个1万块钱的这一笔钱呢，是可以用在什么上呢？他是说 OK， 房租、租金、水电费什么的，或者买货呀，你都可以在这种事情上用这笔钱的。So I guess it's still too early to ask. More questions will be asked about the grant, right?
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, I said it's still too early to know what questions will be asked for the grant, right?
Yes, and we may very well get the form today. We keep asking for a draft that we can share with partners like the PCDC who will be helping, but we haven't received it yet. So I hope to have it today or tomorrow to share with you, and then you can share it with your members.
OK, thank you. OK, so 就是说，我刚问了一下，就是这些问题都我们就是有没有提前知道的？他们说还正在确认，还没有，就是到时候我们 PCDC 也会给大家通知的。So 我也看见有一个人在举手。OK, 现在没有举手了。OK, and then. So someone also asked, can you use this grant to like buy products to like import like things for your shop?
Yes.
Yes. OK, 就是说买货的话，可以用在买货上这个补助金的。OK, 还有没有谁有问题呢？ Is there anyone else who has any other questions that we haven't addressed yet? I think it's been rather thorough.
Wonderful questions.
Okay. Wonderful questions, yeah. So I think then there's not much left else. And so for the folks who want to do and just to reiterate, for folks who want to do the $10,000 grant or want to do the marketing, they're not related. You have to apply separately. It won't roll over.
The good thing about the marketing and the technology services is if you enter once and are not chosen in the next quarter, your application will stay in the system and you'll be considered each subsequent quarter. So that's makes it very easy. You don't have to go back and reapply. But the cash grant, that is separate.
Okay, yeah. So 就是说，要是你们有兴趣想申请广告的那一部分或者补助金的那一部分，都是要分开申请的。就是你要是第一次没有收到那个广告的那个补助的话，你可以，他会就是把你一次要是没有，你第一次申请然后没有收到的话，他们也会就是你的这个申请表格他们会留着，然后下一轮也会就是可以被选到，但是这个补助金呢是要分开的申请，所以你要这个补助金还没有确认，就是会不会还有第二轮、第三轮的，所以这个两个是分开的不同的这个申请表格。Shirley， 我看到你的这个问题啊，要是有需要帮助的话，你可以给 PCDC 联系，可以找我姓张，可以找张小姐。OK， I have one last question. Someone's raising their hand. 你好，我看到有一个人举手了，有什么问题呢？
你好。
你好，
我就想问一下，广告是不是没有那个就是地点的这个限制？因为现在这个基金不是说只针对费城和那个 Chester 嘛？如果只申请这个广告的话，是不是只要是费城地区都可以？还是一样有地区的限制
？Okay, so this person asked, So it's kind of similar to how we asked before. Is there any geographic limitations for the marketing application?
No, any business located anywhere that Comcast serves, which is most everywhere in the greater Philadelphia region. We are in most of Bucks and Montgomery and Delaware and Chester counties and southern New Jersey. So there's no restriction for those marketing and technology related services. The only limitation is on the cash grants.
Okay, yeah, so 就是说，只要你可以在费城周围的社区也可以申请的，只有这个1万块钱的补助才有限制的。Okay, I think that is all. So thank you very much, Bob and Chung. I'll save this video and then we'll share it with some folks who might have some other questions later on. But thank you, everybody. 谢谢大家. Oh, go ahead, Bob.
LeMay, I want to thank you very much. Thank you to John Chin and Rachel Mack and you, LeMay, for working with the Chinatown business community, not only on this program, but on all of the programs that you help them with. We really appreciate it. And I thank all of the business owners on the call for giving us their attention. And I thank Chung, my partner on this, very much for your help and your language skills. Thank you all very much.
Yes, thank you, Chung, for the translation. Okay, 谢谢大家. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Chung.
Bye-bye now.